our panel discussion today on exploring the intersection of AI and content marketing. Before we get started, I definitely want anyone that is on, whether it's on LinkedIn, YouTube, or on Facebook, to please post in the comments that you're here, that you're ready for this conversation. Share your name and definitely where you are coming in from. And then I would love to also get some sort of information in reference to your stance on AI. So are you pro AI or are you con AI? I would love to get that in the chat as well. Let me just type in welcome, everyone. And before we get started, I also want to let everyone know what the flow of this show is going to be. I am going to introduce my panelists in a minute and have them share some thoughts. Oh, hi, somebody's coming in from California, Monique, and share a little bit about what they do. So the first person we're going to start with is Alyssa Berthume. I always screw up Allie's last name, and I like to call her Allie. Allie's company, The Right Place, Right Time, offers book coaching and ghostwriting services. In her role as a writing guide or ghost, Allie caters to individuals who are leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries from North America and Europe. She believes in their ability to bring about healing by sharing their stories and spreading their message. Welcome, Allie. You can say hi.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Edie.
You're welcome. Next up is Deanna Hines. Deanna is a skilled digital marketing strategist and established entrepreneur who has garnered more than a decade of experience in brand positioning and digital marketing, spanning various domains such as startups, nonprofit organizations, public entities, and private companies. Presently, she serves as the founder of Carbon Silk, a specialized digital marketing agency, and congratulations on this, as the president of her Toastmasters Club. Welcome, Deanna.
Thank you, everybody. I am so excited.
Excellent. Next up is Ifat Cohen. Ifat is a successful entrepreneur who operates an engagement marketing company that assists entrepreneurs in building immediate trust with their potential customers. With over 11 years of experience in the industry, Ifat was among the initial 100 individuals to receive an invitation to Google+. Subsequently, Google hired Ifat and offered her the opportunity to travel globally to train their team and speak at their offices, which is a privilege typically reserved for Google employees only. So welcome, Ifat.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. And last but not least is my go-to girl. We've been around for a while. We've known each other for a number of years, Vanessa Cabrera. Vanessa is an award-winning social media marketing strategist who has received accolades for her work. She is a master certified NLP business coach, and that NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming, as opposed to what we normally know in AI as natural language processing. She's also a corporate trainer. She's a consultant for corporate marketing. In addition, Vanessa is a captivating keynote speaker. I have seen her speak multiple times, and she teaches passionate entrepreneurs how to enhance their online presence and make themselves known to the world. Welcome, the one and only Vanessa.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Excited to be here.
Yay. So let's quickly try to see who is here. We've got some people from New Hampshire's in the house. AI is a tool for my writing tool belt. Okay, we'll get some opinions on that from Allie for sure. Nigeria's in the house. All right. Thank you for being here. Hey, Harlan. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Atlanta's in the house with Carlos. Who else? A pro AI progressive technology, which will shape our future most definitely. And hi, John. Great to see you here. And Detroit's in the house as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to start by just sort of going over a little bit about AI. And I know that some of the people that are on here are probably seasoned users and they use it beyond just content marketing. But I was reading a book recently, Artificial Intelligence by Paul Roadster. And he was saying in there that AI essentially is the science of making machines smart. And I know that a lot of people are concerned about AI and whether it's for content marketing or not. And they're concerned that it's going to take the place of human beings. And to some degree, I guess you can say that. But one of the things that I want to pose to the panelists is, what are your thoughts and feelings in regards to where you see the use of AI with regards to content marketing and in regards to your job as a content marketer? You are creating content for your business or you're doing it for your clients. How do you see the role of AI playing, or what role do you see AI playing in your business? And I'd love to start with Vanessa.
Hey guys, hello. So I've been selected to talk about this for a while, Edie, ever since you invited me. And so my stance when it comes to AI as far as content marketing is that I am pro and against it. So pro, because once I started playing around with this, right? I've played around with ChatGPT, I've played around with Jasper, and now Lead Pages has their own AI that creates headlines for your landing pages. So it's kind of everywhere, right? So when I started playing around with it, my first thought was like, where was this when I was starting? You know what I'm saying? Like those late nights when I was starting 11 years ago, cursing at that damn cursor, and going, what am I going to write? What do I have to say, right? So my thought process is this, that AI is here. It ain't going anywhere, okay? And so I know a lot of people are afraid of it. Am I going to lose my job? How am I going to incorporate this in my business? All the things, right? So if anything that we learned from technology until this point is that it's not stopping, it's here. So rather than be fearful about it, my advice to those who are afraid, especially those that it's going to take over their job, is to get into it, play around with it, figure out how it's going to work for you, right? Because it's going to take some time for this thing to have legs, right? It's the same thing as the TV is going to ruin our kids, right? And then the internet came, and now social media, it's not stopping, right? So I would say go in, play around with it, see how it can benefit you in your business, and also in how you're creating content, if it can better it in some way, right? So I'm pro, be going to make you better if that's what you want from it, right? If it can make you find your voice. I'm against it, speaking on behalf of the coaching industry, right? So I'm a business coach, and what I do is I actually help my clients find their voice, find their inner powerhouse. What is it that you have to say? And a lot of people struggle with creating content. All content is what's in here, what you think. But we get caught up on what are people going to say? Are they going to judge us? All these, right? So I'm against it because I've said this before, you can have the best website, you hire the best copywriter. It's not going to mean a damn bit difference. And you can have the best AI tools if you cannot deliver on the products and services you're marketing, period. Right? So it's a give and take. That's where I'm at. You first have got to find your voice and figure out what it is that you want to say and figure out how AI can make it better.
I agree. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I'd love to hear some other thoughts. Ifat, I would love, because you're a techie like me, you geek out at stuff like this. So I'd love to hear what your feedback is on this as well.
Yeah, so I'm also like Vanessa, pro and against, right? So the pro one is like, imagine Star Trek computer, right? Computer, calculate all the possibilities of us hitting an asteroid and the way to get away from it, right? So you don't go sit there, let me chart the course by hand and figure it out, asteroid, right? So AI is really helping us speed up that thing. And I think Vanessa is still on main screen, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Hi, everybody.
I was into the conversation.
Don't do this again. Right?
I
So
take
AI
up
will
space.
really help us make decisions faster. Right? It's going to take all the calculations that we need to do and just go like, okay, give me the 5 things that I need to think about and how do I consider. But just like on Star Trek, every person there is the top expert in their field. They still have their own knowledge, their own expertise, and their own way of looking at things that makes the difference. You still have the captain going like, okay, what do I do with all that data? How do I judge it? How do I apply it? What does it mean? Right? That meaning is something we give it. So in that regard, it's super awesome because it speeds up decision making and creation and all that stuff. The other thing is that we have to consider it's like shit in, shit out, right? Whatever you're going to give it, it's going to spit out. It doesn't think about these things yet, right? It doesn't have that access. So if you give it blah, what you're going to get is blah, right? You still have to be the genius, the machine in front of the machine, right? That feeds it the right stuff. That doesn't go away. You still need to know how to prompt, what to ask, how to gather. But it will turn you into a better communicator because if you put something in and you get shit out, you'll be like, let me modify that. Might make you a better communicator with human beings, asking questions and getting involved with that. The challenge with that is that now, who's the thought leader, right? You got like super amazing video because you put your selfie in deep fake and it creates this amazing video of you on stage. You're super smart because you take the content from ChatGPT and you make it sound like, super amazing with voice AI. Who's the thought leader that I can trust to really help me with my next steps? And that's where trust comes in, and that's where the human element comes in, and that's where you have to be on live video like this so people go like, okay, you know what, she's not regurgitating someone else's stuff, she actually knows what she's talking about. I trust her, I'll work with her. So the pro, speed up things. The con, trust, will be a biggie. But I mean, think about all the stuff that we can do with our free time where we don't have to sit in front of a coffee thing and just do that.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think at the end of the day, it's about how you choose to incorporate it into what you're doing. And as long as you're not 100% relying on what it spits out as the thing that you're going to have representing your voice on a blog post or whatever it is, then I think that you're okay. But if your intention is to let the machine do everything for you and speak for you, then that's where I think that there's going to be a disconnect. So with that, I do want to get Allie's opinion because Allie is a writer and words are really important to her. So I would love to hear what her feedback is with regards to that.
So I really see AI as being a tool, and tools are neutral until we as humans implement them, leverage them, and then decide how we engage and we use them, right? So we were just talking about trust. So to me, the really the pro or con isn't the pro or con about the thing itself, it's the result of the thing. And I think that is based on how our ethics and our integrity are around the way that we use it and the way that we produce content with it. If I go in with the intention of whatever ChatGPT or some other AI program spits back at me, and I just lift it and then place it down over here and then walk away and call it done, then I feel like there is some ethical dilemmas and there are some problems with integrity around how we've just produced that content, shared that content, used that content, versus if I'm using it to brainstorm, mind map, generate new ideas, look for a gap in my own thinking, those types of things. Now, with the work that I do as a book coach and a ghostwriter, some AI is not necessarily going to be 100% useful to me because I am trying to capture the authentic voice and story of someone. And authentic is a different A word than artificial, which is the start of AI. So if I'm going to ghost somebody's story, I'm not going to be able to go over to ChatGPT and have that really help me fill in gaps on somebody's personal narrative. It could be a useful tool, perhaps, if I'm writing fiction and I'm creating characters and setting and environment. If I'm writing a nonfiction business book, maybe it's a useful tool for research or development of ideas and organization. But again, it's knowing what are you working on, what exactly is your intention here, and what's your own kind of moral compass with like how you show up in the marketplace at the end of the day. I clearly would never feel comfortable if I'm promoting that I use my clients' authentic stories as a part of their marketing message, relying too heavily on AI tools. But I have seen how they can be useful in creative generation, organization, brainstorming, outlining, those types of things. So again, tool itself neutral, but what we produce from it, I think that's where we get into the pros and cons. It's the output and our integrity around how we're using it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. So I'm guessing that your thoughts on, because I've been seeing some people are actually writing books using Chat GPT. And granted, they're fictional. They're not obviously based on someone's life. What are your thoughts in reference to that?
So I recently had my husband show me Chat GPT, and he typed in something like, tell me a story about a tech nerd falling in love with, and then I don't remember who the opposite, interest was, the other protagonist.
Right.
And it went to its thing and it spit out, a pretty well written piece. Now, when I say well written, I mean grammatically correct, spelling was intact, but I have to say it was generic.
Yeah.
It was generic in terms of style, voice, essence, personality. It wasn't all that enjoyable to read, even though I could say from a line by line level, it was accurate and it was decently written. And I'm thinking, well, those weren't hard search terms. If anybody decided they wanted to write fiction about a tech nerd falling in love with the school librarian or whatever, that wouldn't be a hard thing to plug in and have Chat GPT spit something out, right? Well, if somebody else put the same thing in, did they get the same result? I don't know. Did they get something that's so similar that now we don't know who is the more original voice or source? And when it comes to books and stories, pretty much nothing is original anymore anyway. Okay. People have been around a long time telling stories, but it's how you tell a story that's what makes it different. And the how is individual voice and authentic kind of like expression, right? So again, I think that the tools are only going to take us so far. It's our job, if we want them to be successful, we want them to produce art, we want them to be engaging, we want to be able to like firmly put our stamp on, like that's mine and I'm putting a stake in the ground. We got to take it well beyond whatever it just spits out the first time.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that point of view. And then thinking and talking on that point of view, I want to bring in Deanna in reference to creating content in written form or otherwise from a digital marketing agency standpoint, because obviously you have to create content for your clients. And in my opinion, I think utilizing AI tools could certainly benefit you from either a drafting, researching perspective, or even from the analytical side. So I wanted to get some input from you in reference to where do you see AI fitting in your digital marketing agency?
When I first learned about it, I avoided it initially, about a little bit more, and it felt so. I was, because I felt as in working for my clients, giving them, as I started to use more, I recognized and the way that I work for my clients and every situation, depending on what I'm doing for them, content, if we are create a website and SEO, it all looks a little bit different. See the benefits.
Deanna, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. For some strange reason, you're not coming in really clear. You're very choppy, and they're saying that they either can't hear you or it sounds like gibberish. Is there any way that you can adjust your mic and then we can come back to you? So try and see if you can adjust your mic a little bit. I think what I want to do at this moment now is take a moment to introduce our sponsor. Our panel today is being sponsored by the wonderful bigview.tv. It is a platform that I've been using for a number of years and absolutely love it. And which speaker may not be plugged in all the way. Someone is saying that, Deanna, your speaker may not be plugged in all the way. So I don't know if that's...
You hear me right now?
I
Can you-
definitely a significant delay. Say something again.
Can you hear me? Settings right now to see. No?
Yeah, you're out of sync. Like, let me come back to you.
Very clear either.
I do want to hear what you have to say. But I would like to introduce our sponsor, bigview.tv. The head of content, his name is Philippe. And I would like to bring him up so that we can just kind of get an idea of what a brand that's out there that has incorporated AI into their platform and, you know, what they're doing for us users. And we're not seeing it. You're not seeing me at all? Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm inconsequential. You don't really need to see me on full screen because I'm going to be bringing up Philip in a minute. But Philip is the head of content at bigview.tv. And I just wanted to kind of get an understanding of what the intention is behind some of the AI mechanisms and features that they've imported into their platform. So one of the first questions is, how has AI been integrated into your platform, and what are the benefits that you're offering to content creators?
Amazing, Eddie. Thank you very much for the introduction. And of course, I will be very pleased to answer this question. Actually, I was created by our data scientist and growth manager at BigView. So kudos to him. His name is Yoav. And he took OpenAI, as we all do. We create, variants of OpenAI with the technology that is out there. And we took the data of our user, and our goal was to take the amount of data that we can take from the users and create the better script for him. Because at the end, BigView was created to always send personalized messages to your audience, to your people that you're watching, and everybody that you want to communicate your message. So our goal was to create the more personalized message as possible. As we all see that AI has its limits, and we can give them one line, and then he's going to make up all the rest. But as long as we give them the right details, eventually he will be able to create something more personalized for you, and that's our main goal.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. I've been using BigView for a number of years, and the primary reason why I used it in creating videos was because it made the need to try to memorize your copy unnecessary, because it was a tool that incorporated your video teleprompter in with recording yourself. And for those who were either uncomfortable, they didn't really want to have to memorize, or they just sucked at memorizing and being on camera at the same time, it just made sense for this tool to be used because of the way that it appears on your smartphone in particular. It does not look as if you're reading because it comes up at the same side as where your camera eye is. And so that just was a no-brainer. And it is something that I recommend to everyone that I work with, whether it's on my YouTube channel or if it's an actual client. Usually one of the issues that they have is that they're like, I can't really memorize, or I'm uncomfortable and I get nervous when I'm on camera. And this, in my opinion, subsides that nervousness. So one of the other questions that I had for you was, how do you use, or how do you see the role of AI in content creation evolving in the future? And what developments can we expect from BigView? Because BigView, I know right now, has the ability to incorporate, like pretty much a lot of other platforms, they're calling it a magic writer or AI rewrite, where you're now able to actually write your script within the platform. And by the way, I have a video on YouTube that I've just recently released on that. So if anyone wants to see that, I'm going to put that actually in the chat soon. But what else are you guys cooking up for us with regards to AI?
First of all, thank you for the kind words about Big View. We appreciate it a lot. And for sure, so the main thing right now is that you actually have 4 themes to choose from, and then you select the ones that match more the message that you want to transmit to your audience, and then you say few lines, like you actually say it with your own words, and then it will create a whole script for you, and now you can and then you can shoot, and then you have a ready to shoot script, and you just press record, and you have the teleprompter, and in a few minutes you have a whole made video from script to final edit. And so how do I see content creation in the future? I see that is an enhanced tool that everybody can use. I use it daily, actually. I not only Big View, but other platforms, because it helps me a lot to write. Since I'm a young kid, I really suck at writing, even though I speak 4 languages, but I always have problems with grammar and vocabulary. So it really helps to complete my sentence. So that's very good. But I think as long as we give the right content, it will help us. And what Big View is doing right now is it's actually focusing more on personalized content, even more. So in the future, and actually we're actually developing a feature that is called, I don't know how it's going to be called because we always change names, but it's a LinkedIn feature where you can actually take a LinkedIn profile from a person that you want to, like a prospect or a lead that you want to send a message, and you can bring it to your tool, and then it will create a personalized image to this person. So if you're trying to make a sales to this person, or you're trying to contact for a job, or you just want to make a new connection for your network, eventually you can get his profile. And based on his profile, he will try to create a script that will match the tone of or feeling that this person will receive, and give you better chances to actually get a message back. Is a new way of outreaching people in a personalized way. And other way that we're going to do is that right now on Big View, you can share all your videos to social media, but in a month or 2, you'll be able to actually schedule your post, and not only schedule, but it will create a title and description for your video based on what you say. So you won't have the necessity to actually come up with all those things in the time. You will just record, and you will say, okay, I want to publish to social media, and you will have your video ready with your text ready, and schedule for the time that you like to publish your video.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive. It's really amazing and interesting how a lot of the brands like Big View and some other ones that are out there are really just going full in on AI and recognizing that it does make a lot of solopreneurs. And that's the viewpoint that I look at from utilizing AI, is that solopreneurs, when they first get started, they don't have the funds to hire a team. So we can't outsource various duties to different people, and so we kind of are a jack or a Jackie of all trades, and we have to do a lot of things ourselves. And so what your company and companies like you are doing is you're just making it a little bit easier for us to be able to have a presence, because you cannot really have a successful business if you don't have an online presence. And you can't have an online presence if you're not actually online and promoting and creating content that's on social media, that's on your website, that's on YouTube. A lot of people aren't really as focused as they need to be on YouTube. And whatever ways that the brands can create to make that doable, even in the short term, because I do believe that, like what Ali was saying, is that there needs to be authenticity with a lot of the content that you're creating. And at some point, you are going to get to a point where you can outsource and you can hire somebody like an Ali to, well, if you want to write a book. I don't think I have a book in me yet, but at some point, maybe, who knows? But, I do recognize that even with your videos that you're creating or the social media posts that you're putting out. There needs to be an authentic piece of you in there. But if there's other elements that can be automated, and companies like Big View can create that and allow us to get work done faster, then I think that it's all worth it. And I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to just assess for yourself, what do you need the tool to do for you? And you use it that way. It's really, at the end of the day, an individual choice. I don't think that all of AI is bad. It can be used for bad, but there definitely is a use for it, and you individually have to decide, how much do I need to use this for? And you just use what you need, and then you keep it moving. So I appreciate you being here and sharing that, and I'm hoping that Deanna's audio is back, but I do want to get your
Can I add something very quick that
Yes,
you just
please.
mentioned?
Yes.
Actually, it's actually, you mentioned something very, very, I think, important and nice. That you said that, okay, maybe the AI can write books, but do you think AI can write stories? Because
Right.
what is a story? A story is a past experience that we have as humans, and as long as he has a lot of content there, but I don't think AI will be able to actually create stories. So that's why books, screenwriters, movies, will always be there. I don't think AI will replace that. I think it
Oh
will
God,
enhance
no.
people to actually write it in a better way. But the stories, I mean, the stories that we live and we share. So as humans, we'll always have stories, and AI, I don't think they will have.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think that topic came up because I'd been seeing, in prepping for this panel, I'd been seeing a lot of YouTube videos where they were saying, I wrote this book in 10 days or whatever, or one day or whatever it was, using Chat GPT. And I'm like, for real? You wrote a book? And I'm like, how bad could that book be? It can't be a really good book if it was written in Chat GPT. Not saying that the content that it finds is horrible, but I wouldn't want to write a book using it, nor would I want to read one that was using it. So I think they're good uses for these tools. And then there are uses where you're like, no, you don't need to use it for that purpose. So, but yeah, thank you so much, Philip, in reference to that. And Deanna, is your audio back? I'm hoping.
I don't know. Can you hear me clear? No, it's still choppy.
It's delayed. It's
Hear me? Delayed.
okay. Say a sentence.
Well, I disagree with that my audio is working. Can share my
Yeah, it's just it's
shares.
your mouth is moving and the voice isn't catching up to it. So I'm not really sure why it's out of sync that badly. But let me see.
I would suggest you disconnect and connect again to the Restream.
Yeah, you want to try
Maybe
that?
that could help.
Yeah, try doing that. In the meantime, somebody said, yes, it's delayed. Let me go to the audience to see if there are any questions. I have to scroll back. Bear with me for a second. Okay, let's see. This is a long one. So let's see what this one says. I'm using AI for brainstorming ideas around content topics mostly. I don't have a person or on a regular basis to toss ideas around with. So AI is filling in as that for me right now. I can pose a question and ideas and it feeds back other ideas and topics. I agree. I agree with Lisa. I think that's a perfect use of particular. Can everybody see the question that's posted, panel? Okay. I think that's an excellent reason why Chat GPT, as an example, exists. So if you need to brainstorm ideas, if you need to get topics for a blog post that you're writing, or even a presentation that you're going to put on, I think that it totally makes sense for us to be able to utilize it that way. so that we can get a jump start. I know that's my issue. I've never professed to be a writer. Just like Philippe was saying that he sucks at writing. I suck. I shouldn't say negative things like that, because the more you say it, the more you believe it. But I'm not a proficient writer. So I need things to jumpstart my just juices flowing in terms of getting whatever it is that I want to say out on a piece of paper. And using tools like this definitely shortens the length of time that it takes me to create content, whether it's a post or whether it's a blog post or whether it's an email or whatever, a video script, whatever. I sometimes am just drawing a blank when I look at a blank screen and I need something to jumpstart me. So I definitely think that it makes sense to utilize something like that in order to just get your juices flowing. So I want to bring Vanessa back in to share if she has any comments in reference to what we've been talking about, particularly with just using it as a research tool to generate topics, because I know a lot of your clients are interested in improving their online presence. And a part of that is creating social media posts and content for social media. So I want to bring you in and see if you have any more comments on that.
Yeah. So
Oops, are you? Oh,
yeah. Hello. That's one of the aspects that you can definitely use AI for. Like Edie said, if like you're struggling with ideas of what to post. I was just kind of playing around with Chat GPT, if you can gain access to it now. There's so many people jumping on the free version that like a lot of people can't even get onto it. So if you want to get onto it, I suggest paying. But I have recently just kind of played around with it when it comes to content ideas and how I can really reach my audience on a very deep level. Is what I always do is listen for questions from my prospects, exactly what they're struggling with, what their challenges are, so then I can speak to the solution. That's how I'm approaching my social media marketing, right? Where I'm like, I'm not marketing my coaching program, I'm approaching them with the solution to their problems, right? So one thing that you can do, and then I did in Chat GPT, is ask, okay, Chat GPT, what are one thing or a couple things people are looking for when it comes to hiring a business coach? Or what are they struggling with when it comes to marketing themselves on social media or scaling their business, whatnot, right? So again, this goes back to where was this back in the day, because I have an Excel chart of questions that I've had over the past years or specific problems that my current clients are working through, right? And so as we know, if one person has a question or is struggling with their social media marketing, I know thousands others are struggling with the exact same problem, right? So now instead of waiting for questions from, events like this, from people asking questions about AI, and then you can go live and answer that question just by yourself, right? You can kind of come up with great ideas of what people are actually searching for out there, because my understanding, and people can correct me, because again, I'm playing around with it, because I am all in about speaking from your truth, right? Like as a coach, again, you can have AI and it can better your content, right? And it can help you work through what you're actually trying to say in a more efficient, marketing, trendy kind of way and make you sound better, right? But when you actually land a client, AI is not going to help you, right? AI is when you're working with someone one-on-one or a group coaching program, you better deliver the services that you promised you were going to deliver with your social media marketing, right? So with AI, I think that's one of the things that can help people now is brainstorming on how to really connect with their audience. But again, it has to be your voice. There is still a human element to social media, right? And someone touched upon, I think it was you thought about authenticity, and Allie, but all of us have touched upon it, right? Like we're still human. We still want to connect with our audience in a very human way. And that's something that you can never fake once you actually start doing business with them, right? So we know about that know, like, and trust factor. People have to start to know you, right? Does she know what she's talking about? Is she expert in the field, right? Do I like her? Do I vibe with her? If you're just depending on AI, right, to connect with people, and then they get on a call with you, and your personality is nothing like what you've been posting in your content, you're not going to convert that client, right? There's a disconnect. So you have to trust yourself first, that you know exactly what to say to your audience, and then use AI to make it better.
I agree. Deanna is back. We're going to see if this works. Third time's a charm, as they say. So let's try and see. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little nervous. I
Yes,
don't know if you can hear
yes,
me or not.
yes.
Oh my goodness. Finally.
Yay. Okay, so it was disconnecting and coming back on that did the trick. So what I wanted to find out from you, from a digital marketing agency standpoint, where do you sit with regards to utilizing AI tools? Is it something that you use? Is it something that you even recommend that your clients use? What's your take on this?
I have mixed feelings about it. And what I started to say last time when you couldn't understand me was, initially I looked at it as cheating, and that it really wasn't being genuine. And if I used AI in any form, then I really wasn't delivering what my clients wanted from me. Now, I do see pros and cons of it, and I do use AI. I don't use AI to write everything for my clients, because each client has a different brand, and that brand has a different voice, and capturing that voice is really important if you want to create really good content for them, whether you're creating social media content, whether you're writing an email and using their voice, or you're writing content for their website. So there may be different voices that you can pick in AI, but the majority, it's not that brand's voice. However, where I see the benefit and a huge time saver is it does help me brainstorm. And I actually enjoy writing, but it's getting started that always stumps me. I'm like, if you just get me started, I can roll with my thoughts. But it's that first paragraph that stumps me. And AI will give me that. I usually will tweak it. I won't take it verbatim, but it gives me, oh, this is exactly what I want to get across. And I can rewrite this now in that brand's voice and get my message across, and using it that way. So I see the pros and cons of it. I don't mind if people use it. The downfall, I actually had a somebody who is not a current client of mine reach out to me, was talking about the agency that this person is currently using, and said, I don't like the content anymore. I think they're using AI. It sounds really generic. So there are benefits, but you've got to be aware of that brand's voice and what are you creating for them.
Yeah, I agree. That's interesting. Yeah. I have wondered, since the onslaught of so many different AI writing tools in particular, if there are entrepreneurs, agencies, or whomever creating content for clients that are paying them, and they're using these tools. That's actually interesting to hear, because I guess to some degree it would make sense that they would do it, especially if they feel that it's such a great tool. Then why not utilize it? I know that we've been talking a lot more so about Chat GPT in particular, and in reference, excuse me, to AI writing assistance. And we did talk a little bit when Philippe was on, in reference to using AI with a video tool. But I want to know, what other AI tools are you using, or are you interested in testing out? Because AI with content marketing covers more than just writing. The writing was probably the first iteration. Well, actually, I wouldn't even say it was the first, but it was one of the first iterations. My introduction to AI for content marketing and content creation came by the way of video. I was introduced to a product way back in 2018. And then there just seemed to be an onslaught of them after that. So I'm curious, as a digital marketing agency, besides the writing aspect and besides using it as a research tool, are there any other AI tools that you're utilizing that can help with your clients. For example, I will throw out there that I'm a Social Bee user. That is the social media management tool that I have chosen to use. And they've now incorporated AI into their tool. So I'm curious, as a digital marketing agency, do you utilize any other tools that don't have to do with writing?
I don't personally. However, I will tell you that I am looking at some other tools when it comes to SEO and Google
Mhm.
and how to optimize the content that's already there, things that I can implement, and having AI reevaluate. So I haven't pulled the trigger on anything at this point, but I see the benefit of it and I'm curious. So that's one area that I'm exploring currently.
Okay. And then I want to ask this of everyone. So I'm going to start with you, Allie. Knowing Phil well, you're probably going to say none of them, but but I'm curious.
At this point, no, I'm
Yeah.
not. But I think that this goes back to, well, actually something that Philippe said, which is about story, and that story is personal. Story is just something that cannot be cooked up from something else when it's deeply connected to who we are and what we've experienced. Now that said, I've got a client using ChatGPT to basically do her initial brainstorming before
Mhm.
she sends it to me to write some nonfiction stuff. And then we do our due diligence, like, well, what other sources are already out there that might be using that kind of language so that we're not running the risk of plagiarism. I saw that happening in the chat. People were
Yeah,
asking about
I saw that
citations and
too.
everything, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, you got to take an extra step, which I think I already said. You have to be in integrity and you have to have kind of your own ethical code. As a writer, plagiarism is a thing. Intellectual property is a thing. Copyright is a thing. So, because right now there's still a lot to be explored here, and a lot that can be changing and adapting and things like that. It's okay again as a starter tool. But then we've got to make it her brand. We've got to make it her voice. We've got to make sure that it's not mimicking or mirroring or plain right copying something that already exists. I've got a fiction writer who is using something called Wonder. It's an AI art generator, and he's super enjoyed using that. He puts in stuff that he knows about his characters and his setting, and it produces these gorgeous,
Yeah.
gorgeous illustrations, which he's then taken and expanded upon, because what he sees gives him a whole new understanding of the world that he's trying to create. It's helped him fill in gaps in his plot. So it's gone well beyond, the initial, just like, I want to actually see the character that I've been envisioning in my head. It's helping to connect more dots and spread out further. Now, I'm kind of with Deanna. Like, if I find an AI tool that can help optimize some sort of business element that's behind the scenes, like, I'm not a systems and process person. I don't do tech. Who would have known as a writer? I like the creative stuff. So I'm probably not going to lean towards AI tools in the creative realm because that's where I like to play and that's my zone of genius. But you want to give me some AI that's going to help me write some SOPs or automate some workflows or do any of the things that make me want to rip my hair out, I am open to having a conversation. So I really think it's it's preference, it's skill, it's zone of genius, it's intention, it's all the things I think that we've already covered.
Excellent. Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. And I'm curious about Wonder. I've not heard about that one. I tend to use Midjourney, which can be a little bit of a minefield when you're using it, but it does. And this, I wanted to get somebody that was an artist on our panel because I wanted to get their feelings in reference to tools like Midjourney and obviously Wonder and Dolly and whatever the other ones are. Lenza, I think, is another one in reference to creating artwork, because I think sometimes if you have a really hard time visualizing what it is that you are wanting to see, and you have this ability now to just put in a prompt, say, whatever it is that you're typing in that you want to see, and it sort of creates this image for you, that can stir up some creativity with regards to writing as well. So I think that definitely that is a great tool to use. Again, I think it was Dolly, I think that made the news last year where it won some award. Somebody created some piece of art I think it was Dolly, and it won some sort of like artistic award. And there was all this hoopla la over, is that really an artist? Because it was a computer and it just took some words. So I think regardless of what genre we're talking about, we're going to hit where it's going to be some sort of creativity that you're sort of like, well, a human didn't do that. So does it count? And so that is definitely going to be something that I think people are going to need to address at periods of time. But I'm glad, Ali, that you touched on the plagiarism part, because there was somebody that had a question in reference to I don't know if it was a question. It was for anyone using ChatGPT, OpenAI for content ideas or content creation. What is your strategy for protecting yourself against plagiarism, since content that is generated is pulled from a vast ocean of models? Seems like it would be very easy of getting, and I don't know what the rest of it said. So I'm not an expert when it comes to the plagiarism piece. I know that there are tools that are out there which escape me at the moment, where you could take the content that you create from ChatGPT, and I know Ifat, if you know, where you can then plug it in so that you can check to see if there was any plagiarism or anything that's going on like that. So I'm going to segue over to you, Ifat, to see if you know.
Okay, so two things. Plagiarism is not new, right? It's not new. I know people that have copied entire courses. They bought it, they copied it, they sold it. Happened to me. It's not new. Happened, that's why we have citations. So the best defense for that is becoming best known for your thought leadership. If I'm going to say something that sounds like Gary Vee, you're going to be like, that's Gary Vee, she's copying. Like, Gary doesn't need to come out and be like, no, she stole from me. Everybody knows that's a Gary Vee thing. Grant Cardone thing, Alex Hormozy thing, right? Like, become that known. Simon Sinek, if I say start with why, everybody knows, right? Like, I don't need to be like, that's why you think. And like Ali was saying, nothing's new.
Right.
They're not new. That stuff is not new. Everybody's building on their own ideas. So I would not worry about that. I would worry more about how do I show up in the world as the thought leader that I want to be. Second thing, you ask for a tool. We've been using Munch, and we got 2,380% more increase in views and 154% more increase in watch time in 7 days. Within 3 weeks, we have over 100 watch time hours in YouTube. So if you're growing your YouTube channel, or you want to grow any of your social media, and you don't want to think about what's engaging and what's moving and all that stuff, there are AI tools that can help you. The caveat, shit in, shit out, right? You have to put good interviews into Munch. You have to put good content into any of these AI in order for it to generate good stuff. But once you nail that part, which is what we help people do, once you do that, in an hour, you can have a full month of shorts that are engaging and are catchy and everything, and it writes the headline for you and all that stuff. So if that's an interest, I got a coupon for you and I got a link for you and all that jazz. Just hit me up on the event. But there are tools that can speed it up and build your authority and make you look awesome. You have to have the original piece first, and then, free your time for the engagement thing, right? And lastly, if I may, I think because of all that stuff, you notice that Facebook now is going to charge for a little ticker as well, right? $15.
Oh, I did hear about that.
The challenge is that ticker will get you bigger visibility. So now it's not social media, it's pay to play, even more than ads before, right? And so I think what's going to start happening is people will start congregating in groups, in chats, right? Like Snapchat or WhatsApp. You'll have a group of trusted friends that you talk to about things. I have it with a mastermind with some marketers, and every time there's a news article or something new comes up, we chat among ourselves. And who do we trust? The people in the group. So I think building your authority online and your trust and that circle of people that know you, that can refer you to other people outside of everything that we're doing online, is going to be so crucial for your business growth, because then you'll have someone who validates that you're a real person and you know what you're talking about, and it's good to work with you, and you're not a copycat,
Yeah.
copycat from plagiarizing ChatGPT. So
Yeah, I agree. And I love Get Munch. I've definitely been using them. So thanks for sharing that. So Vanessa, is there anything or any tool that you feel comfortable using that is AI based, that you either use on your own or that you know that your audience is using and you're cool with it?
No, I'm not using, I'm not using any particular tool. I play around with it because I'm just curious. Right? Like I said, I played around with ChatGPT. I played around with Jasper when that first came out, and I've always used Lead Pages. So Lead Pages also has a new item where they're offering AI for new headlines, so suggested headlines that you can use. But that's pretty much about it, because I know that, if you just rely on AI to tell people how you think or help you express yourself, there's an unconscious disconnect with your audience. I think Ali said it best when it's all about integrity. So if you're just constantly throwing out content that has been artificially intelligently created, that's such a word, right? You're not going to stand behind it, right? You can say, oh my gosh, this looks so good, I sound so good, but on an unconscious level, that's not something that that you authentically created, and your audience is not going to connect with it. It's on an unconscious level, and that's why people are attracted to certain people on social media, right? So you have to stand in integrity with your word, mean what you say and say what you mean, right? So I'll play around with it, but right now, I don't need it.
Gotcha. All right. I hear you. I definitely play around with it a lot. I think I just like playing around with different tools and seeing what it can do for me. And I like that if it can make my life a little bit easier and allow me to speed up the process, then I'm all for it. Besides Big View is obviously one of my favorite tools with regards to creating videos. It simplifies my life. It allows me to create my videos quickly and easily. And I want to definitely share a QR code. If you want to try Big View for free, you can scan that code and then put in the coupon code that's on the screen so that you can get $20 off. But besides Big View, there are a lot of other tools that are out there that do make your lives a little bit easier. I'm not necessarily a proponent of using tools to enhance or create creativity, things that should be coming from you that are authentic to you. I'm not saying, oh, you should definitely use these tools and don't think, because I think if you have your script 100% written by ChatGPT or Jasper.ai is a tool that I use all the time as well, but it is a jumping off standpoint, like Deanna was mentioning. But there are other tools that are out there that could just get the creative juices flowing, whether it's Midjourney or some other image creating platform. Not all of them are created equal. I have tried a lot of them and hated the outputs that they've had, because either they're standalone, they're still not good, or if they're incorporated into another tool, they're not that great. But at the end of the day, if the tool can just expedite my life, for example, Otter.ai is a great transcribing tool that I have incorporated in my Zoom calls. So whenever I have a Zoom call with a client, I have Otter.ai, and it's not the only one. There's Fireflies, there's like a bajillion of them that will transcribe your conversation so that when your call is finished, you either have a transcription of that call, or you may even have just like bullet point or notes. I forgot what the heck they call them, but they're like, a synopsis of your conversation. That helps in you being able to correlate what it is that you had this conversation about, as opposed to listening to the conversation all over again or trying drastically to read your own notes that you were frantically writing as you were having this meeting with someone. So there are AI tools that can certainly uplift and benefit you in the end, and it doesn't have to be something that you're doing in replace of doing that job. Another tool that I happen to use that saves me a tremendous amount of time is whenever I have presentations that I have to use a slide deck for, I no longer use PowerPoint, even though PowerPoint I think is now incorporating some AI capabilities to it. But I use a tool called Beautiful.ai because it does the work for me. And they now have an AI feature that I literally type in a prompt and it can start to formulate the slides for me. And then I can go in and tweak what I want to do. And it just expedites and speeds up. Expedites and speeds up the process. And that's the goal that I have for any AI tool that I use, is for it to save me time. That is the number one thing that I want to always do. So I highly recommend researching, looking at all of the other tools that are out there and seeing what makes sense for you. What is the best tool for your business? So I want to look at some more comments here. Somebody mentioned a tool called Perplexity.ai. Can't say I've ever heard of that one. I don't know if any of my panelists have ever heard of that. I don't know if that's a writing tool or if that's an image tool, but somebody posted that.
It's a writing tool, and it kind of like confused me with someone else. So apparently I was on C-SPAN. No, I wasn't. But it got the first one right, and then it kind of mixed up with different people. So it's like we said at the beginning, right? It's fantastic for information, but then you need to know what you're asking about in order to know what you're getting is right or wrong.
Yeah, most definitely. Somebody, did you post the coupon for Get Munch? Somebody wanted you.
I did not, but I will put that in the comment in LinkedIn, and I can put that as well in YouTube if you guys want it.
Someone commented, can use adjectives to modify voice, can use a snippet of company story and use AI to expound on it, works well for about section on a website. So I guess that's in reference to, I'm presuming, Chat GPT, in reference to, I guess, how you can have a little bit more of an authentic voice, but I don't think that's going to pass the muster with Allie. So I don't think that's not going to be good enough for Allie. And then somebody mentioned something about Fathom.vi.
Fathom is amazing. You guys, you all should use it. If you're using the paid version of Zoom, Fathom is amazing. It's a free transcriber.
Oh, okay.
It will record your calls. It will record the questions. It will allow you to highlight sections. It will summarize the thing for you. It's fantastic. Fathom.com. I will also, there's a wait list. I will put a link in LinkedIn and in YouTube if anyone wants to skip the wait list for it, but it's amazing. And thank you, Candace, for remembering. I have it.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Well, we have hit our hour. I want to thank you all so much. This was really a fun conversation. There was a lot that we could have covered in addition to what we did already, but this would make it a 2-hour conversation. So I want to definitely thank our sponsor, Philip, in reference to sponsoring this from Big View. I really, really, truly appreciate. I got my stuff up there. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Deanna. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you, Allie. I know you've got to run soon because you have another meeting after this. And the one and only Vanessa. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. And thank you all for participating. I know we couldn't get to all of your questions. I do plan on getting in there and responding to some of you. Thank you, Georgia. You thought that this was informative. I appreciate that. You're welcome, Carol. Let's see, who else can? John said thank you. Candice, So thank you all so much for being a part of this. I truly appreciate you. This is the first time that we've done a panel discussion. Hopefully it won't be the last, because this is a active topic. And then if there's some other topics that you guys want to hear from us, I would love to know about that. So thank you all once again. Appreciate it. Bye.